What's going on, everybody? What's going on? It is Wednesday, March 4th, 2026, and we are back with another live here on the Torn Your Rain Reloaded channel. Shout out to everyone that is here so far in the chat. Shout out to each and every one of you. I'm glad that you are here. We're going to have a very interesting topic to discuss today, and it shouldn't even take me long to get to these what I have to discuss with this, because it's not that many articles to go off of. It's only, I think, maybe 2 or 3 of them at the most. But we're going to be talking about how Michael Jackson's estate is facing yet another lawsuit. Some of you may be familiar with this lawsuit. Some of you may not be. But for those who are not, you're going to find out today. Before we get into all of that, make sure, if you haven't done so already, to go ahead and hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you are new. And if you are new to the channel, I'm glad that you are here. Hit the bell twice to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. And also, make sure to join the Discord just in case you don't get the notifications in here, and you can be with the family outside of YouTube. Shout out to everybody over there on Patreon as well. So let's see who we have in here so far, those who came in early or those who just got here. We got Raging Woody, we got Ryvon, CW, Wallow J, Andre, Lana, Reparations Nation, Junior Network, Hurricane Nisi, LB, High Top Rob, Tamika's Den, Andrea, Kingdom of Garvin, Don P. And that is it so far in the chat. And shout out to all those who are lurking in the background and haven't said anything. Shout out to each and every one of you. And also, if you, for whatever reason, cannot catch this live in real time, shout out to the replay gang. So like I said, we got a couple of articles that we're going to go over because this is absolutely ridiculous. The man has been deceased for what? Going on 17 years now. As everyone knows, the highly anticipated Michael Jackson biopic comes out next month. I can't believe that time is going to be here before we know it. Allegedly, the tickets go on sale next week on the 11th. I already know that the apps and them servers are going to crash as if Endgame is coming out all over again. But I'm definitely going to be getting mine, and I'm sure many of you in this chat will be getting yours. But today we're going to go ahead and talk about this ridiculous lawsuit that the estate has on them, which I don't think is going to really go anywhere. It's obvious this is just another money grab. They've been going at Michael Jackson's estate consistently since his passing, well, since his death back in 2009. And it just seems like it gets ramped up every single time. And it always comes at a very interesting time, too. I always pay attention to that as well. But the first thing I want to go over was this article right here that goes back a couple weeks. Because remember, they said allegedly Michael Jackson was in the Epstein files. And many people was like, oh, God, here they go. And one thing I said before I even decided to do this live is that whenever there's something that is dealing with a PC individual, it could be a man or a woman, but in this case, a man, it can be a plethora of them in these degenerate type of situations. And they will try to make every excuse in the book for them or try to cover for them. And then they have to kind of try to scramble to see if they can find at least one black person. And it doesn't matter if they're dead or alive, in this case, deceased, to pin something on so everybody can focus on them. Because if they could say something about Michael Jackson, who would arguably be, in their eyes, the biggest name, then we don't have to talk about all these other individuals who did some of the most, or who are accused of doing some of the most heinous things to minors for years. So I'm going to go over this article. It says Michael Jackson in the Epstein files, and they're asking it as a form of a question. Truth behind claim of Neverland protecting kids from the island and saying that he was silenced. So in summary, they're saying that Michael Jackson was using Neverland, which of course everyone knows was his home, as a way to protect children from being sent off to that island. It said Michael Jackson's name has come up in relation to Jeffrey Epstein, with many wondering if the smooth criminal singer name appeared in the Epstein files. This comes after the Justice Department released the final tranche of documents linked to the late convicted CSO. It said it coincides with a claim going viral on social media that Jackson used his Neverland Ranch to protect children from what happened on the island. Little St. James, the small island in the United States Virgin Islands, is believed to have been one of the sites where Epstein and his associates exploited minors. And it says Michael Jackson used Neverland to protect kids from Epstein. It says one person wrote on X. And they actually have a clip right here. I'm gonna see if I can play it from Macaulay Culkin. Him and Macaulay Culkin has known Michael Jackson since he was a kid, like going back to when he was on Home Alone. So they have a long, like, standing friendship relationship. But I think he's also the godfather to one of his kids. So let me see if I can play this.
I'll never forget that. Michael Jackson saved me from.
Okay. Let me see if I can expand this right quick. And it says Macaulay Culkin breaks the silence. It says Michael Jackson used Neverland to protect kids from Epstein. You said it's AI? Well, if it's AI, I won't play it. Let's go on to the hold on. Let me shout out to DeMarcus for the 5. MJ, the soldier of love. I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me know that. But shout out to DeMarcus for the 5. He says, Torian, do you think that Michael Jackson was trying to tell us something in the Smooth Criminal video? I'm not entirely. Well, Michael Jackson was a storyteller anyway. I mean, he told a lot. He had a lot of messages in a lot of his songs. I mean, it could very well be. When I think of like songs that he told stories in, of course, They Don't Care About Us. The sound was good, Jagger the Road. It's just I wasn't talking. That's why. It wasn't nothing wrong on my side. I just wasn't saying anything. But I would think, They Don't Care About Us. That's obvious. Black or White had a message. Man in the Mirror definitely had a message. He, like I said, he was a storyteller in a lot of his songs. If you listen to his history album, if you listen to Michael Jackson's history album, more so the second disc, that is where I think Michael really, really tells a lot of his stories at. But that was Michael going at the media hard. Like he took the gloves off, pun intended. He took the gloves off and was really going at the media's neck at that time because he was over it. That's why I hope that, because I just have the strongest feeling that there's going to be a 2-part movie for this biopic. I feel like it has to be that when it gets to that history era that they really go in with that part. But we shall see. It says a person also claimed Michael Jackson was silenced due to what he knew about the quote unquote elites at Epstein. Another added, so they're saying Neverland is where Michael Jackson took children to protect them from what was being done on the island. Yet another claimed Michael Jackson protected children from child abuse. In a recent interview, Macaulay Culkin shared how Michael saved him from. Okay, so that's the part where MJ Soldier of Love said that was AI. So I'm not even going to read that part. They said, oh, there it is. It says this refers to the Home Alone actor, but unfortunately, this claim is false and has been fact-checked by Snopes. So there it is right there. Similarly, there is no evidence to suggest that MJ used his Neverland Ranch in Santa Barbara County to protect children from what happened on Epstein Island. It says he passed away in 2009, years before Epstein's activities became public, and he had never spoken publicly about Epstein as well. LB said, I think the last MJ song I like was Remember the Time. It's a beautiful video. It is. But trust me, you missed some great songs even after that. Trust me. But I have a feeling that after that movie comes out, that catalog is going to like go back up as far as stock goes. Oh, DeMarcus, if you ever never got a chance, make sure you listen to the song called Al Capone by Michael Jackson. It was an unreleased track. It was a demo. The demo for that track was used for what we now know as Smooth Criminal. But it was only a demo, so it wasn't released as a full as a main song. But listen to this song. called Al Capone by Michael Jackson. And if you listen to it, it has the same cadence as Smooth Criminal. He even references the Annie person in the song. And then after that, listen to Smooth Criminal, and it's almost like a transition into that song. It's a good song too. It has a nice sounding beat and everything. But now let's get into the main part right here. This right here, where now these individuals are claiming that Michael Jackson did something to them. Of course, it's always they're saying that Michael Jackson did something to them. And this time it's this family called the Casios. And I think it's four of them, like four siblings. They said the Casios are back in court with a new tactic to get money out of Michael. Now, that is very telling in the title alone, where they said they are back in court with a new tactic, insinuating that they were in court before with an old tactic. But now they're back in court with something new to try to get money because their old tactic did not work. I know an ambulance chase when I see one. So let's see what they're talking about. In yet another attempt to extract money from the legacy of Michael Jackson, 4 adult members of the Cascio family have filed a new federal lawsuit against his estate, recycling sensational claims while ignoring decades of their own public support for the king of pop. This lines right up with that dancer. What was that dancer's name? Wade Wilson? No, that's no, Wade, not I said Wade wasn't that. I'm thinking of Deadpool. Wade Robson. Because remember, Wade Robson was really connected and linked in with the entire Jackson family, not just Michael. He did some choreography for him. I think Wade Robson even dated one of the nieces. And all of a sudden, all these years later, allegedly Michael Jackson did something to him. All because he wasn't selected to choreograph one of his I think his one the MJ1 Cirque du Soleil out there in Vegas, and now all of a sudden he did something to him. This reminds me of that. So these individuals linked up or knew Michael all these years. Now all of a sudden he did something to him. Thank you, Raymond. He said Brandy Jackson, Jackie's daughter. Yes. Let's continue. The complaint filed in Los Angeles yesterday accuses Michael of horrific acts dating back to when the siblings were children. The language is extreme, the dollar figures are astronomical, and the timing is telling. Let's be clear, Michael Jackson was found not guilty on all counts in 2005 after one of the most scrutinized trials in entertainment history. He maintained his innocence until his passing in 2009, and millions of fans around the world continue to stand by him today. Nothing about this latest filing changes that. This one says from second family to federal lawsuits. For decades, the Cascio family publicly defended Michael. They described themselves as his quote unquote second family. Well, if you call yourself family like that, what family does something like this? It says they supported him during the 2005 trial. They praised him in interviews and they stood by him when it mattered. Now, years after his death, almost 17. Can y'all believe it's been almost 17 years? It's crazy that it's been almost 17 years since we lost this icon. It says years after his death and long after his voice can no longer defend itself, they've pivoted. The estate's attorney, Martin Singer, has called the new filing exactly what it looks like: a transparent attempt to shop for a favorable court and secure a massive payout. According to statements made in court, the estate alleges that the Cascio camp previously made a staggering 9-figure demand. Now, we know that 7 figures is $1 million, but they added on 2 more figures for $9 million, a 9-figure demand. Already, I will already side eye it on just that alone. This lawsuit is a desperate money grab which I definitely agree, by additional members of the Cascio family who have hopped on the bandwagon with their brother Frank, who is already being sued in arbitration for civil extortion. The family staunchly defended Michael Jackson for more than 25 years, attesting to his innocence of inappropriate conduct. This new court filing is a transparent form shopping tactic in their scheme to obtain hundreds of millions of dollars from Michael's estate and companies. If true, that speaks volumes. The new complaint references locations tied to Michael's tours, including the Dangerous World Tour and the History World Tour, as well as visits to properties owned by friends such as Elizabeth Taylor and Elton John. It also mentions Neverland Ranch. Now, this is where I knew that this story had a hole in it, was when they mentioned Elizabeth Taylor. Now, anybody who knows of Michael Jackson and his associates, one of his longtime biggest friends and I would say confidants was Elizabeth Taylor, especially in the late 80s and early 90s. Like, they were really, really good friends. Like, they bonded on how their lives started in the industry. They were both very young. They, she did film and he did music, so they was able to relate. As a matter of fact, fun fact, Elizabeth Taylor has been credited as the one to give Michael Jackson the official title of the King of Pop. And I think I remember seeing a clip of it. It was her and Eddie Murphy. They had presented him some type of award. I want to say it was at the Soul Train Awards back like in the late 80s during like the Bad era. And he got some kind of special honor. And that's when she announced to the world on that stage in front of all those people, the King of Pop. And then that's the headlines gravitated towards it. And then that's what everyone called him ever since. And that the rest is history, as they say. It says these dramatic details are clearly designed to generate headlines, but we've seen this tactic before. After the 2019 release of the HBO documentary Leaving Neverland, which I've never watched to this day and don't plan on ever watching, featuring allegations from Wade Robson, who we just mentioned, and James Safechuck, a renewed wave of civil litigation followed. Each case leaned heavily on media narratives rather than criminal convictions, and it bears repeating. Michael Jackson was acquitted. No court ever found him guilty of the crimes alleged in these ever-evolving lawsuits. Singer has stated that the estate categorically disputes the accusations and describes the lawsuit as a calculated financial maneuver. The estate continues to defend Michael's legacy and challenge what it views as opportunistic litigation. Meanwhile, the Cascio siblings, who once defended Michael for over 25 years, now claim they were silenced. The claim conveniently overlooks their many voluntary public statements praising him long after the alleged abuse would have occurred. The contradictions are impossible to ignore. And by the way, this article that I'm reading off of is coming from this website called mjvibe.com. So basically, it's a website that's dedicated to everything Michael Jackson. It says a pattern fans recognize every few years as the value of Michael's catalog rises. And see, here's the thing, that part right there. They know that with this movie coming out, that catalog is going to go even higher. It's probably going to go through the roof. It's going to shatter that ceiling. Everyone knows that when this movie comes out, all of his albums, even the Jacksons and the Jackson 5, those albums are going to do numbers in physical copies, vinyls, and streaming. And they know that, so they're trying to get ahead of it before that happens. What's going on? Plot twist. It says every few years, as the value of Michael's catalog rises and his cultural impact grows, another claim emerges. The estate continues to generate record-breaking revenue. The brand remains powerful and the music endures. And by the way, Michael Jackson is still to this day like one of the highest paid entertainers, and the man's been gone for almost 17 years. He still has, his estate still makes more money than people who are still alive and still producing music. That says a lot. Fans are not blind to the pattern. When individuals who spent decades defending Michael suddenly reverse course, often alongside massive financial demands, skepticism is not only reasonable, it's inevitable. The bottom line is Michael Jackson is not here to defend himself, but the facts of history remain. He was acquitted in 2005. He consistently maintained his innocence. His legacy as one of the greatest entertainers in history remains intact. This latest lawsuit appears less about justice and more about money. That's because that's exactly what it's about. And no amount of courtroom theatrics will erase the truth that millions already know. Michael Jackson was innocent. He is innocent, and opportunistic legal tactics won't change that. So there's that article right there. Now I'm gonna go over this one last article that was posted on Yahoo Entertainment via Pitchfork on Monday. So the verbiage in this one's going to sound a little bit the same, but it's going to have some more additional stuff in there because the article that I just read was posted on the 28th, and this one was posted just like 2 days later. So it's some more additional stuff that's added in there. It says siblings accuse MJ of that and abuse in new lawsuit. 4 siblings have sued the MJ estate, alleging that they were each trafficked and abused by the singer over periods that collectively span more than a decade. The plaintiffs, Frank, Dominic, Marie Nicole, and Aldo Cascio. So now we have all the names because they only mentioned one name in the previous article, and that was this Frank person, but now we got the other siblings. Recently appeared in court in an effort to avoid a prior statement that they said was designed to silence victims of childhood abuse. A ruling that is set for March 5th, which is tomorrow. The new lawsuit filed on February 27th in Los Angeles arrives a month after the siblings' last appearance in court. The Cascio siblings' father reportedly met Jackson while working at a luxury hotel he often stayed at. According to the complaint, Jackson began doing things to each sibling when they were around 7 or 8. He allegedly showed them things, I'm just going to say that, including CP, and forced 2 boys to watch him assault Marie Nicole while telling her it was, quote, a normal thing between a man and a woman. Miss Nisi, that does sound like an Italian name. It does. When I read it, I said it does sound like an Italian last name. What's going on, Inga? It says the lawsuit goes on to allege that Jackson plied the children with alcohol and hard drugs, as well as prescription drugs, including Xanax and Viagra. Is that he reportedly used childlike language to encourage the consumption of these substances, calling wine Jesus juice and hard liquor Disney juice. The plaintiffs claim that Jackson's employees were complicit in Jackson's abuse, often procuring alcohol and drugs for him while the knowledge of what they would be used for. Now, you got to think to yourself for 1 second. If this family was so-called friends with him and called them their second family for all these years, you mean to tell me no one saw anything and not one of these kids said anything? MJ Soldier Love said MJ helped Michael helped them start a restaurant, and a couple years ago they filed for bankruptcy. Well. But like I said, this just sounds like all extortion. This is exactly what this reads like. It reads like they are out for money. That's all it is. They said they were looking for a 9-figure deal. That's $100 million. That is insane. It says the plaintiffs claim that Jackson's employees were complicit. Oh, I read that part. It says Jackson is said to have stressed that the lives of the plaintiffs as well as their family would be ruined if anyone were able to find out about their acts. He allegedly instructed the children on what to say if an adult were to ask them if they had been messed with inappropriately. The lawsuit also claims that Jackson repeatedly employed manipulation tactics, such as isolating the siblings from each other, convincing their parents to homeschool them, and taking them on interstate and international trips arranged by the Jackson organization to gain more access to them. The abuse reportedly continued until the days before Jackson's death in 2009. Now, that I definitely don't believe, because up until right before he passed, Michael was getting ready to work on his comeback tour. How would he, excuse me, how would he have been able to have the time to do that if he was putting in endless hours at his age, at the age of 50, after not touring for so many years for a comeback tour. How would have you had the time to do that? A lawyer for the Cascio siblings, Howard King, told Pitchfork in a statement, ignoring threats from the Michael Jackson estate of financial ruin and faced with the estate's false public accusations of extortion and lying, the Casios have elected to remain silent no longer. Not only do they seek fair compensation for more than a decade of abuse from an entire family, they hope their filing will embolden other victims' enablers to come forth and shake off the shackles of their silence. So now you're trying to send other people over there to try to get money too? What they're banking on is that they win this, then other people will go and try to extort them as well. I think Michael Jackson has one of the most wealthiest estates, but also one of the most sought after ones as well. The Cascio family had previously supported Jackson during a 2003 trial in which the singer, who was later acquitted, was charged with inappropriately touching Gavin Arvizo, who was 13 at the time of the alleged abuse. In media appearances, the siblings often described themselves as Jackson's second family. Frank Cascio explicitly countered many of the allegations against Jackson in his 2011 memoir, My Friend Michael. They might as well burn that book now. My greatest is hope that if you as you read this book, you can put aside all the scandals, all the rumors, all the cruel jokes that surrounded him later in his life and come to know him through my eyes, he wrote in the book. The 2019 documentary Leaving Neverland allegedly deprogrammed the siblings, allowing them to become oh my god, look at this. The 2019 documentary Leaving Neverland allegedly deprogrammed the siblings, allowing them to become conscious of the reality. Jackson's abuse was wrong and had severely damaged them. That same year, prior to securing legal representation, they signed a confidential acquisition and consulting agreement, which they claim was explained to them as being a life rights agreement. However, the contract included non-disparagement and binding arbitration clauses, which would have prevented the siblings from going to the police with their allegations or suing the Jackson estate in open court. In addition to the charges of, I'm going to say CST, the Casio's lawsuit seeks damages for negligence, intentional infliction of emotional distress, breach of contract, negligent hiring, and fraud. In a statement to People, the lawyer representing Jackson's estate, Martin Singer, described the lawsuit as a desperate money grab by additional members of the Cascio family who have hopped onto the bandwagon with their brother Frank, who is already being sued in arbitration for civil extortion. So that shows you right there. Initially, it was only this Frank Cascio person, but then his siblings jumped on board. Yeah, man, listen. If I was in charge of this estate, after laughing and like immensely at this, I'm on the phone. I'm like, is this a bad joke? Singer continued, the family staunchly defended Michael for more than 25 years, attesting to his innocence of inappropriate conduct. This new court filing is a transparent, informed shopping tactic in their scheme to obtain hundreds of millions of dollars from Michael's estate and companies. A separate lawsuit against Jackson is set to go to trial in November this year. That one, revived in 2023, is filed by James Safechuck and Wade Robson, the subjects of Leaving Neverland. This is a load of crap. And I'm going to keep my eye on that Wade Robson and James Safechuck one too, to see what the outcome of that is. When I actually forgot all about that, but I remember, I think last year they had said that they're moving forward with it, hopefully to embarrass them, because I don't see how they're going to get anything out of this either, especially Wade Robson with his two-faced self. But anyway, y'all know what time it is. I'm dropping the link in the chat. If anybody would like to come up, feel free to go right on ahead. And if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and hit the like button. I would appreciate that. All right, let's see. We got our first person up here.
Heed my command and reclaim these relics of hatred.
What's going on, Miss Niecy?
Good evening, Torian and family in the chat. I can't believe I beat Wallow J.
Yeah, I don't think Wallow's in the chat right now. I didn't really see him posting that much after a little bit. That's why you beat him.
Well, this is my only statement after listening to your commentary. May the Cascio family's genitals rot from the inside out. Fuck them. B1.
Shout out to Miss Niecy, straight to the point. All right, next up we got Jonathan. What's going on?
What's up, man? I'm gonna go Miss Stacy and go straight to the point as well. Let that man rest. Leave him alone. He's gone, and a person that's deceased can't defend themselves. Y'all had time to do all that, and unfortunately, he's too late. It's too late now. So the fact that y'all going after the dead man lets me know how fucking rotten these people are. So whoever this Cascio, and that Wayne bitch is, I hope they reunite with Charlie Kirk in the Devil's Pit. B1.
Shout out to Jonathan. All right, next up, Inga. What's going on, Inga?
Hey Tori, what's going on? How you doing? I'm not gonna sit up here before a second. I just wanted to shout out that who was that? You said Miss Niecy or somebody who came up there
Yeah,
and she said after him, after them people, and I agree 1000%. I just really got to piggyback on what she said. Piggyback 100%. These people is ridiculous. They killed this man. You know, they did their best to take him out of here, and they did. And now they still trying to drag this man's name through the mud. Leave him the hell alone. I ain't believing nothing nobody say negative about Michael Jackson or even the rest of the Jackson family. I'm just not believing it. You know, I ain't believing it. I believe all of them are liars. You know, so yeah, F them. F every last one of them. I'm glad you put this story out there because I didn't know they was trying to bring it all back up again. But I'm
Yeah,
not
like
surprised because the movie about to come out and they're gonna try
exactly.
to do everything they can. I'm going to click off 'cause I know you got other people, but they're gonna do everything they can, y'all, to try to stop y'all from going to the movie theater. But don't fall for it. Y'all show up and show out and support the movie and everything. So um, that's all I got to say. But
All
I'm
right.
good talking to you, Torian.
All right. Thank you for coming up.
All right, bye bye.
All right. Oh, this wasn't going to stop me. Like I said, I'm going to see the movie regardless. And like I said, I know many of y'all in this chat are going to go see it. Many people, let me put it this way. A lot of people that's in my chat right now have said that they haven't gone to the movies in years, but they will get up to go watch this. All right, let's see. Next up, we got AW1. What's going on?
What's going on, Torian and chat? I mean, Torian, did we call it a month ago?
We've been calling it past a month.
Are we surprised by this point? Golly.
I'm not surprised. Like I said, it seemed like it's a new, like they said, it's a new lawsuit coming up. That's why the attorney for the Michael Jackson estate said, and the thing is, I could almost imagine in which tone he said it in. He probably said it in such a nonchalant tone because he's so used to it by now. And it's probably, you know what? I can only imagine how many frivolous lawsuits the Michael Jackson estate gets every month. Imagine the ones we don't hear about.
Right. And the thing is, too, brother, it's like this. It's all they're doing is more people going to watch this movie now. Go ahead. I mean, It's just. But I wanted to ask you, Tori. You ever thought about doing maybe an interview with Taj? Yeah, he had all got to reach.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. I know, because he has been he's talked with Nicole's View several times. Like they practically know each other now.
Yeah, maybe you could do something like that because you got a big enough platform now, and he'll talk to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know he will.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's funny you bring him up because he had posted something on Twitter. I think it was surrounding this. Maybe I want to say it was sometime last month, and he went in. Usually, like he'll say some things or something like that, but I can tell that this one right here really.
They're just sick of it by this point, man. Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah. But by this point, they're just sick of it. It's like, leave them alone. Get a life. Get a job if you want money. Go earn it like he did. All right, Torian, but stay woke, be one, man.
Be one. Shout out to AW1 for coming up. Next up, we got T. What's going on?
Hey, Torian.
How you doing?
I just wanted to say the whole thing is disgusting. I'm not surprised by it, though, because anytime Michael is brought back into the forefront, the allegations come up and they try to tarnish his name. I just want everybody to also pay attention to his kids as well.
Mm-hmm.
They've been acting kind of weird, in my opinion, with this estate, them suing the estate. Paris is now hanging out with Debbie Rowe all of a sudden, and they probably talking and kikiing, and Paris was being real weird about the movie. So just I kind of want to keep an eye on them too, because it's looking like a shakedown to me. It's looking like a shakedown. We're supposed to believe that for all this time that Michael was just out here wilding and everywhere. Just
it would have been hard
to
do it would have been very hard, like I said, very hard for him to even do stuff like that with under the radar, because his life was under such a microscope. And like it was like everywhere. Like I would say after that Thriller album came out, that's when the media really got more invested in him. Like that was what they call a Michael mania. Now, granted, I wasn't alive during the Thriller era. I was born during the bad era, so that was more like, but yeah, like I said, none of us who are watching this are even remotely surprised. Like I said before, that's why the attorney for the estate wasn't surprised when he saw this, because they're used to it. Like I said, they probably have lawsuits that come out every single month against the estate, but we don't hear about those. But this one right here is crazy. Like they asking for 9 figures. Are they insane? Like, do they actually think they're going to get even a dime of that?
I doubt it. It's a shakedown, and like you said, with that call, especially with Leaving Neverland coming out in 2018, that was a call to anybody that was around Mike. Say, hey, you can join with us and get some money, because if it's the more of us that there are, then the harder they believe can be disproven. But it's like the man's been dead. You're not seeking justice. You can't seek justice from somebody who's already passed away. So it's like you should have did that while he was alive, so he can actually either defend himself, or we can see the evidence as it comes up. You don't wait till after this man has been dead. It's just slimy to me. It's just it's so slimy to me. And he's dead and been dead and buried, and you come out now, and all of a sudden now it's this recollection, like, I didn't know that I was molested. I didn't know what molestation was, even though, I was a witness in the 2005 trial. And I'm old enough to remember, because me and you are around the same age, Dorian. But I was old enough to remember. I was about 15 when that trial came, and I was watching every day and stuff, really invested in it. And it's like, and him acquitted on all, what was it, 13? I think it was 13 counts, acquitted of everything. And it seems like now these people who are coming out are just rehashing things that have already been disproven, rehashing claims and allegations that have already been dead and buried and gone and dusted. And we shouldn't be, talking about this again. but it's like they digging into this well. They don't even have their own stories to tell at this point. And it's really gross. Also, check out some of these channels too, because I see some of these people are on the hate train. And it kind of saddens me too when I see our people. I don't know if maybe they might not be us. It might be Tethers or something.
Yeah,
coming out pushing out against Mike,
because
Roxanne channel.
Because
I'm putting them all on blast because it's disgusting what you're doing to this man.
Because it's trendy to talk about. Like it's something that'll keep them in the or put them into the algorithm or something like that. If they say something like this and like none of it has to be true, but sensationalism sells.
It's gross. It's disgusting. Yeah. But I'm still gonna be watching the movie when it comes out. I'm probably
definitely
be there first day. I kind of
definitely
at the 12 a.m. show. I'm trying to pick out my outfit now to get ready, so they not deterring nothing for me or for any of us. We still gonna push forward, and they not about to distract from the real monsters who are still alive and walking and evading real justice, who were in those Epstein files. Because I took a peek at that and went down it, and that's disgusting. That's who you really need to be going out, because those people are still living. So. But that's just my part. I don't want to take up too much of your time, Torian.
Okay,
I respect what you do. Thank you. Hopefully there will be a review of the part one.
For
2 parts of the movie. I'm sure they are.
I'm sure it's gonna. It has to be 2 parts because it doesn't look like there's no way It's no way you can fit that man's entire life into one movie. It's no way.
Nah, it's not possible. It's not possible. So I'm super excited about that. Hopefully the review is out. I might do
the review in the form of a live stream, which I never really do for like when I do usually those are pre-recorded, but I said I might do it because I know that the movie comes out on a Friday, but they they do the early showings on Thursday, so I'll see it and I'll probably do the live on that Friday, maybe like Friday evening or somewhere, or maybe do it on Saturday because by give people enough time to have gone and seen it. I'm like, I just put the disclaimer. I said, y'all got about 1 or 2 days. Whether y'all seen it or not, we gonna do this review. I said, it's gonna be one thing. It's 1 or 2 things. You either gonna watch this review in real time if you've seen it, or you have not seen it and you'll just watch the playback. That's gonna be one of the 2 things.
I feel it because I've been hoping you would cover it because I'm like, Torian is a super MJ fan like me. He's a moonwalker, so we need to get together.
Oh, definitely, that's gonna happen.
All right. Thanks, Torian. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good one. Shout out to T for coming up. Next up, we got, I felt like there was a comment Christopher Lee Jackson says they have ads in live streams. Yeah, they incorporated ads into live streams now. Well, you have the option of having them on there, or you don't have to. And it's through StreamYard. It's something new that they have on there. They have different levels on them. I have them on conservative, which means it should be fewer ads. Because I'm not trying to hit y'all over the head with a bunch of ads. Because there's an option where you can have them where there's an ad popping up like almost every 5 freaking minutes. And I know that would probably annoy you. So I had the conservative ones turned on where I think it's probably 1 every 10 minutes, maybe. I'm not sure. It doesn't tell the time of when the ads pop up. Sub-Zero, what's going on?
I'm still learning. First of all, to talk about this Michael Jackson thing, it's very funny how the racist anti-blacks in the United States of anti-blackness want to spit on Michael Jackson, but they're not spitting on the Harvey Weinstein. They ain't spitting on Roman Polanski, Woody Allen.
Interesting you said Roman Polanski because that's a name that never really comes up nowadays. Although it should.
And many others who, hell, let's look at the music industry, which Michael's a part of. That whole sexual intercourse and or sexual play with younger persons under the age of 15, under the age of 18. This has been going on for years in the area of entertainment, and no one said a mumbling, well, the white people who practice racism haven't said a mumbling word. And they've been doing it and getting away with it. When you look at this Epstein situation, I watched the hearing with suspected white supremacist Pam Bondi. as the so-called attorney general. And the Democrats with their shenanigans put these women up that were the survivors of Epstein. And I sit here and said to myself, look at this sad shit. Just look at this. I said, well, where were the parents of these children? You know, like what? And I'll take a page out of Gus T. Renegade's book, the gentleman who does a show called The Cows, The Context of White Supremacy. He says this all the time. White people do not care about children. They do not. Because if they really did care about their children and they, I think, condemn us for not being parents, how in the hell did these young girls get in the company of these men? That should be the question that's asked.
And if you look at the FBI crime stats under certain categories, they lead overwhelmingly in these very, I would say, degenerative categories. That's why whenever they bring up or they talk about the crime stats when it comes to Black people, they always have to lean heavily in on the homicide part, because that's the part where we lead it. And the thing is, it's not even like a huge margin. It's not even 10%. But just because we have a slight lead there, they feel like, oh, that's why they only talk about that. But if you look at every other category, they lead overwhelmingly. And when I say overwhelmingly, I'm talking about sometimes at most over 30%.
I mean, I'm from Virginia. We had a teacher here who got arrested recently in elementary school for loading on the computer sex with underage girls. Another question I ask is, where did he get that content from, and how come there was no investigation on the producer? Because I seriously doubt the adult film industry is producing that type of content, knowing what happened in the 80s with Tracy Lord. Mm-hmm. So, where's that content coming from?
It's interesting you say that, because there was a video that was floating around on, I want to say, I think I saw it on either Twitter or Instagram. And it was the police had went to the school and they literally arrested a teacher because they had found out that he had certain type of content on one of, or maybe several of his devices. And someone had did like an investigation on him, and he got arrested right there. Like they had to pull him out of, like, away from his classroom, because he was there with the kids, and pull him into a separate room where they spoke with him and said, we found this, this, and this, and this, and you're under arrest for this, this, and that. Like they had it on the body cam footage and everything.
So it makes me question, now that this Epstein thing has come out, now they're going after Michael Jackson. Yeah, I'll admit Michael Jackson was weird after the whole skin situation. Very weird. But at the same time, I don't believe that he did all that they said he did. And I think if he did do it, God bless him not, the parents put those kids in positions to do just that. Mm-hmm. Because even R. Kelly, even R. Kelly, I believe R. Kelly got bit by that same bug. While these parents are out there talking about, where's my daughter? Where's my child? Why are you kidnapping my children? Well, sir, ma'am, y'all the parents. Why in the hell is your child doing in the vicinity of a performer? And why aren't the record companies held to account for also enabling that culture? Nobody else went. Sony didn't go to prison. Barry Weiss of Job didn't go to prison. Tommy Mottola didn't go to prison. They're walking around here rich off of the backs of these men. They damn near took the estate from Michael because the family is too ignorant and sold the catalog back to him for money. So they kill our champions. They get our people to sell out. And then when our people sell out, they sell everything. And now all of a sudden you want to go back and attack the man when he dead about the sexual harassment. Well, y'all not going after Epstein for these children who are alive, by the way, and were teenagers until one of them committed suicide after she wrote a damn book about how she was sexually trafficked. Well, question is, where was your mom and daddy? And the brothers spoke out on her behalf. Where the hell was he? Why wasn't he sexually trafficked? What happened here? It's so many questions that need to be asked, man. And I think, the white people that run this country really don't want a lot of this stuff to get out. They want to keep us distracted from their complicity in sexual rape and sexual assault of children. But they'll blame us as the apes and the animals. But when it comes to them, their crimes are not looked at as crimes. They're looked at as, they had a mental problem. They going through some things. Their crimes are always excused. And there needs to be a serious conversation amongst Black people about our relationship to white people and what we need to do to avoid those people by all means.
You had anything else? Or was that it?
I land my plane, brother.
I appreciate you coming up. Shout out to Sub-Zero for coming up. Next up, we got Chaos Rain. What's going on? You're muted, by the way. I can hear you now. Oh, wait, you muted yourself again.
Hear me now?
I can hear you now.
All right, 1 second. So what's good, Torian? How you doing, man?
What's up?
Yeah, one thing I will say, for all this, personally, is the movie was coming out this week, right? Michael Jackson?
No, it's coming out next month.
Okay. Yeah, it's right time to create more either publicity or distraction of this upcoming film, this actual biopic of the thriller and every other works he has done up to, I'm not sure they're going to show up to his death, but this is a very good biopic by, I think, Antoine Fuqua.
Yeah.
Director. So really and truly, this is another distraction as I look at it. Especially when you said that they don't know when they were sexually coerced. If you come to adult age and don't know what happened to you, I feel sorry, personally. You get me? To now come up with this. And really truly, what they ask for, $900 million? I'm not sure.
So they said they're looking for a 9-figure payday. So that's in the $100 million range.
Hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you a little. You sound kind of far away, like it's almost like you're
No.
far away
I
from
don't know if my thing is unstable now. Repeat what you just said.
No, I said they're looking for a 9-figure payday, meaning that it's in the $100 million range.
Good luck for that if you're gonna get that. They ain't getting that.
Christopher Lee, hold on. Christopher Lee Jackson, he says, does the Jackson estate even have $100 million? They have more. Do you know how much Michael Jackson's estate is worth? His estate is worth around nearly $1 billion, maybe more.
It's actually 900 million when they sold, so it's really close to $1 billion.
Let me look it up right quick.
Damn, fast. Hit the like button, guys.
Oh,
yeah,
it's they said. Oh, I was right. They said it's worth around $2.5 billion.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's what's up. Okay.
Yeah, I thought that's what. And the thing is, after this movie comes out, it's going to be worth more, because, like I said, the album sales going to go up again. Streaming numbers is going to go up. People are going to buy a whole bunch of merch and all stuff, and all that's going to go back to the States. So I have a feeling it's going to make a huge climb after this movie comes out.
My thing with this story is, because we know this is going to make money because Michael. The weirdest thing about all this, because they said he was mentioned in the Epstein files, but there was context of this already. From what I'm hearing, he's trying to get out of this deal from Sony when he talked to that dude. You get me? So yeah. I'm not sure if they're trying to use that and these people to try to come up, say now this is the opportunity and a great distraction to extract more money out of him. It's not going to succeed. Because most
like I said, none of the stories they tell are consistent. And like I said before, I'm willing to bet the attorney for his estate probably gets they probably get hit with lawsuits all the time, and some of them just as ridiculous as the next one. And it's like they probably just look at that and laugh at. They probably keep a tally of how many times they get hit with a lawsuit, and they probably have exhausted a whole bunch of whiteboards keeping up with these tallies. Like I said, the estate is worth about $2.5 billion, and like Emmanuel said in the chat, it is constantly growing. Like his estate is not losing money, and the only way they could lose money is if people stopped buying the stuff or it got sold off, and that's how you lose money. But it's always his family, his siblings, his nieces and nephews, and even his kids. Yes, we know they're not biologically his, but on paper, those are his kids. They're going to be covered for the rest of their lives. Now, literally, his estate is nothing but one big generational wealth bubble, and it's going to constantly expand over time. It's never like his estate is never going to drop because it's always going to make money unless it gets into the hands of the wrong people who mess it up. And if they do that, then how in the world do you destroy an estate worth that much? But at this rate, it seems like his estate is in good hands. As long as it's constantly moving, that means that whoever is in charge of it is doing their job and they're getting paid correctly to keep it going. So one thing I wish they did do, though, and I'm sure some people would agree with me, is I wish they would have turned Neverland into a museum. I wish they would have turned Neverland into a museum, because that would have been a good tourist attraction. You would have attracted a lot of people to go there. It would make that would be more money coming toward the estate. I would actually fly out to Santa Barbara just to go see it, but that's an idea that I've had for years now. But like I said, that's up to the estate if that's what they decide to do. But you got anything else you want to add?
One question. When the family got the payoff from Sony, when they sold his catalog, what year was that? What year did they sold his catalog? When Sony asked and gave him $900 million.
You said what year did they sell the? You mean when the estate lost the publishing rights? To back to Sony?
No, because Sony, I guess they gave him a payout. When was that? What year was that?
Oh, you mean when he got? Oh, you mean when the deal with Sony where he got Sony's publishing, or half?
Yeah,
of it,
no. When he died, they went to the family to give him money to get back the catalogs from Michael.
I can't remember exactly when, but it wasn't that long after. It was. I would say maybe it wasn't that long. It wasn't that long. Like they went and they got that back fast. Because that Sony publishing, that was a huge deal for him to have at that time. People thought him getting the Beatles catalog was something, but no, getting that Sony publishing, that Sony publishing was just, that was historical right there. Oh, someone said it in the chat. Someone said in 2018.
Okay, so that was now 8 years ago. Damn, that's almost.
And then again last year.
Okay, so it was that long to it. Okay. Well, at the end of the day, if it's still growing after his death, that whoever's in charge doing a very good job, you know what I'm saying, trying to keep his name and his everything alive. And remember, the only time you start really losing money is when they stop talking about you. And once they stop talking about Michael Jackson and everything gets done, that's when the thing will lose money.
Well, let's be real with ourselves here. Michael Jackson is never going to stop being talked about. Let's be completely honest with ourselves here.
And the media is making money, and whoever is making money is still banking on us. So for the future's sake, I don't think whatever Michael has contributed to the world is going to die anytime soon. But thank you again for having me up on Touring.
Oh, no problem. Shout out to Chaos Rain for coming up, and I believe he is probably the last person to come up and speak. Notice I did not put the timer on anybody today. I let y'all thrive today. But that's going to bring this live to an end. Shout out to everybody that came through. Shout out to DeMarcus for the contribution. I greatly appreciate it. We got a Bed Bucking Hall of Shame video coming tomorrow, but it's a 3-for-1 special. It's going to be three. The theme is going to be around the same thing, but it's 3 people involved. So instead of 1, y'all are getting 3. So this is going to be, it's going to be nauseating and exhausting, but it's going to be, it's going to be those 2 things that I just mentioned. I can't put it any other way. But that'll be coming tomorrow at 10 a.m. The next live that I do, of course, will be the weekly recap on Saturday. I think I have all the topics that I want to talk about already listed down on my phone. So that'll be the next live, will be on Saturday. I think Afro's going live tonight too, if I'm not mistaken. I think he can be talking about Jasmine Crockett. But shout out to everybody that came through, all the members, all the mods, everybody over there in the Discord, everybody over there on Patreon. Appreciate each and every one of you. We about to be out of here. Video coming tomorrow at 10 a.m. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. And yeah, with that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe. And most importantly, be one.